Mr. Sunil Pareek, Ayushi Ashar, and our very own Kritika Singh Rawat from RealtyNXT. May I please invite you to come on stage?
So quickly, I'll start with a question because Sunil said something to me while entering the room कि सारा discussion हो चुका है हर panel में, अब क्या बचा है? So point is, I was noting few pain points from the startups. So I will begin with that first question which no one has asked in other panels. So you guys can give me a good insight with that. Right. So what I've noted down, what the startup wanted to understand is, if a founder here wants to avoid the graveyards of proof of concepts, what single metric or proof would be actually convince you to roll out 10 projects, not just one? I think this question no one asked in any other panel, and it's quite relevant for this particular panel. So I'll start with you, Sunil.
I think I shouldn't have given this challenge to Kritika. So I think I'll just paraphrase your question again. So what you're saying is, what should the founders here do so that we give them a red carpet and just give them all the projects? So I think, jokes apart, what level of problem you're solving is what typically I would like to see, right? And build confidence on that. See, today, I think Murli and many people spoke about other sectors and drew a parallel about other sectors. I'll start from there. If you look at a bank, a customer, a regulator like RBI, or any of the stakeholder of a bank, including an employee, feels very confident about the precision and effectiveness of a bank. They feel it's almost like bulletproof because the kind of tech spends they are doing. You know, I was just looking up statistics. They say 9 to 10% of the top line goes into tech. And real estate, as we all know, is less than 1%. So anyone whose solution is compelling enough for us to increase the tech spend beyond, you know. Now, what is a compelling solution? If you ask me, like, we are developers. We are operating more at a management level. So I would always see the market from certain lens. I'll help everyone visualize the way I see it, is a pyramid. Let's make a simple pyramid with bottom, middle of the pyramid, and top of the pyramid. Now, bottom of the pyramid, PropTech, has been there, I feel, almost for 5 years to 10 years. If $4 billion funding has happened in this space, a lot of action has actually happened. But that has happened in the bottom of the pyramid, which is to do with efficiency and compliances. Efficiency includes everything: your communication, your collaboration, compliances, document keeping. Middle of the pyramid is something which is the next layer to do with significant ROI in terms of cost and revenue. You either reduce my cost 10%, 15%, 20%, and not just in pitch decks, really I should feel convinced, or increase my revenue. Third, top of the pyramid, that is wishful thinking. I think we are still away. You'll be in Proptech Demo Day, maybe 7, 8, 9. By the time it happens is strategy and innovation. And that the target for them is senior management, board level, to drive the direction of the company, drive the direction of the... So today, we are flooded. I mean, it's a very carefully chosen word, flooded. LinkedIn, WhatsApp, calls, emails, teams being approached of so many solutions which are in the bottom of the pyramid. Largely to do with sales, CRM tech, and some other collaboration tools, which feels like a novelty today. But honestly, a little bit of crystal ball grazing. It's just a matter of a year or two that it will become as common as maybe an Excel or a ERP sort of thing. So will I give 10 projects to just someone who walks in with a bottom of the pyramid solution? Probably no. Second, I may sound very confident, but trust us, I'm speaking on behalf of developers. We are confused on whom to go with, how to evaluate effectiveness. Easiest way out is, okay, don't go to tech, let the tech come to you. In the sense, whenever it gets commercialized, at the time I'll be able to use it. But I think all forward-looking developers are now starting to spend time The only way out for us is do some pilot, see the effectiveness. And I'm not saying it'll be a rainmaking solution. What typically we will be looking at is the conviction of the founder. See, today we went through 12 pitches. Maybe in person, outside, I'll be able to tell you which founders just impressed. Their solutions today is not up to the mark. But if the founder is impressive, he's got the conviction, it feels that he's here to really solve a problem in a partnership-driven format and not in for a quick ride, I think we'll still give it a try, pilot by pilot, and then reach your 10 projects. Yep.
So Ayushi, I'll tweak this question a bit because good, he brought two things in the picture. One was, of course, why to roll out carpet for the startup and give them 10 projects right away, right? But one major thing which we noticed with all the startups quoting was the cost. That every big real estate developer also, and especially Hubeco had mentioned, not with the small developers, but with all the legacy developers, they are demanding either do it for free or do it for in a very less cost. So I want to understand why real estate developers are still being hesitant when it comes to PropTech solutions, and why we are still looking for proof of concepts in a manner which comes as a freemium.
So I completely agree with all the points that Sunil said, right? That I think there are too many solutions constantly being thrown at developers as well under the pretext of efficiency and innovation and AI and tech. And one is, it's hard for them to pick amongst those solutions unless, see, if you want a blanket entry, there have to be two things. Either your product or your service or whatever you're offering is something so irreplaceable that the developer can't ignore it. Or second, that the developer has some sort of skin in the game. By skin in the game, I mean that either they have come to you with the problem and you are kind of co-developing it with them, or you are doing a pilot on one of their sites where they have actually reached out to you. Or or you're going really top down where the developer or the senior management has actually come to you that this is the problem and this is what solution we require. Unless if you're not in either of those two buckets, that means you're trying to get sales, right? And it's a sales strategy. It's what we do when we have 100 walk-ins and probably 10 closures out of it. You are also in a similar bracket as a founder. One of the biggest roles of a founder is sales to some extent, and how easily or how difficult it is for you to convince someone of your solution. So then it comes down to your sales strategy in some way, and of course there is certain strategy to pricing, to all of those things. Why developers are asking for freemiums specifically? Honestly, I don't think if people are really asking for freemiums. If they are, then they're trying to get their way to a solution that's not tested, and they probably just want a pilot out of it to see whether it works. Other than that, you should command whatever, XYZ for your services. If you're really offering it, you should command it, and then also be able to hold your ground in some way to be able to charge that. Of course, it has to be justified. If you're just starting out and, there were a lot of startups that said we want developers to kind of pilot with us. And if you are also asking them to take that bet on you and you don't have a short solution, then yes, you fall into that the first bucket that I said, where the developer is also putting in some skin in the game for you. And then in that case, probably there's an equal give and take. But if not, then you should charge.
So I want to ask, Ayushi will continue asking this because you got the sales and marketing in picture. What I've noticed, especially in real estate, sales and CRM marketing technology is done to death. That's the only thing which has been considered as PropTech, right? So if I ask you both, if you have to put your personal money, if you have to give your check, would it, and that's why I said personal money, not the company, so that you can give me an honest answer to this. What would it be? Would it be a modular construction, digital twin, or something which is quite in the need of hour, which you think needs to be addressed, and this is where you would bet your money on?
I think she's counting her money first.
No, for me, it would be, again, the efficiency spectrum of it is very overdone, right? Efficiency is a process, but uh, if I had to really put my money into some games-changing solution, I would want it to be some sort of a product that is enabled with AI and tech. Tech because that's the way to scale and reach a wider audience, and product because then that is real innovation and R&D and stuff that you're doing to really make something unique. One example from, and I'll just say it because I came in, I saw only 6 of the presentations, but one of them was the window cleaning robotic solution. Now, again, there are a lot of challenges to whether that would work or not from a developer's point of view, but the ability to build that type of technology and product and then use AI to sort of scale it or improvise it, honestly is a slightly different game than just the agent solution, where it becomes very replaceable. People can, once you have your workflow, once people have some idea of, okay, this works, it can to some extent be replicated across different channels. So yes, I think robotics within AI is a great one. For me, a lot about circular economy as well. That is something that we are really looking towards as an organization. By circular economy, I mean it can be something from using your excess surplus materials that we have to, and this was just last week actually, I was talking to someone, one of the heads of the WTF fund, and we were talking about just solar panels and how solar panels is now a booming industry, but 10 years later, what will happen to all of that solar waste as well? That becomes a huge waste as well. And then how do we kind of use that as part of the circular economy? So anything that is forward-looking and futuristic in terms of the solutions and kind of gets the business to happen in a much more easier, efficient, sustainable way, I think that's the way that we're looking towards.
Okay. Sunil, what about you?
Yeah,
Personal money.
only personal money or wealth I have is my time. So starting with, I think I'll give you 2 answers. I would really, when I saw a lot of these startups, I don't know how we'll be able to, but I think each of the developer here should devote time, maybe just mentoring some of them. Some of the solutions are good, some of the founders are great, but the solution is miss. If you can put in time to mentor the direction of the solution or the direction of the thought process of the founders and the co-founders, I think that will be a great investment. And I'm urging, and this is something which all the jury members we also discussed. Someone would have really made the cut, but somewhere we felt his positioning is misplaced. His revenue model is not what ideally it should be, because it generally happens. Every tech guy is not a great business guy, and every great business guy is not a tech guy. Sometimes they may be co-founders, but I don't know if the chemistry doesn't work. So some misplaced directions are there. So if you can spend in time, if NXT can create some platform of that sort, that will be great. If I have to really put money, I'll put money in a PropTech, which can unify the data layer of the company. See, real estate, that way, one company is not a company. There are 7, 8 companies within one company. Many may not understand this, but developers will understand. When a land acquisition is happening, the sales team doesn't know that in future they have to sell land in that area. When a design is happening, the facilities guys doesn't know that what's happening in the design, I have to maintain it in the future. When BOQ is getting done, the procurement person is not sort of in the loop. And I can go on, like the interdepartmental coordination, communication, awareness that should be there is lacking. I think sometimes grapevines are more, or rather informal communications are more powerful than the formal channels. Because still people are using emails. Maybe Slack is the most advanced tool they're using in. That is only for communication. Now imagine the data. Liaison team, for instance. Liaison team is not prepared when the design gets ready sometimes. You know, how the interdependency is very high. And in mid of all these things, I don't think anyone from accounts is here. They are the last ones to know. Only when the work order goes, check request will go, acha, ye bhi ho raha hai idhar, right? So I think any PropTech at all the three layers, if it can unify data, communication, and eventually help in efficient decision making, which saves cost, which increases revenue, and and also saves time on time delivery, makes the entire ecosystem more cohesive and not multiple companies within one company. I think many will agree with this, that this is where we should put our personal money in if I can do it.
That's an interesting insight. So I want to understand, because I'm sure you can guide the startups present here, because we have heard the same story where the pilot has done well, right? But it has failed when it comes to scaling. So what even the startups want to understand, and this is where your insights as both as a well-known developers can give, and I'm sure it's not just about the cost, budget, or just the legacy software. It can be beyond some issue or some problem that either startup is not understanding when it comes to the solution they're providing, because pilot is run really good. But when it comes to scaling, they're not getting the projects because it's just failing. So help us to understand with this particular thing. I'm not trying to grill here, but I want the startups also to get a perspective that why, because this question comes from them, ki pilot bahut acha chala, they liked it, they loved it and gave us one project, but uske baad it got failed because they said scaling is an issue. So I will come to you, Sunil, but I want to understand from you also, Ayushi, because you guys are quite known in Thane region, right? You must have also tried and tested few startups and their pilots as well. So where maybe the solution would have worked with one project, but maybe not with other. What is the main reason of this kind of pilot being failed when it was maybe running great in the first stage?
Again, couple layers to this. I think one is the execution beyond the pilot, right? The team or the startup has to have a very efficient team that can run that end-to-end execution. Yes, the founder and the core team can probably do it, but beyond that, and especially when a startup is trying to scale, they're trying to do this with like 5 developers, 10 developers at the same time. And that's when the founder's attention kind of probably goes down. This is what we have seen sometimes. And then the second in line team, of course, because it's a startup, is not able to match that level of dedication and even that level of ownership as to what they can really do with the product. I think that's the first operational layer. Second, I would say, is also network effect. You have to, when you're trying to scale, you have to be able to tap into the right network and get the right, almost senior leadership on your side. Because in real estate, whether we like it or not, a lot of it is driven top down, and this is not with real estate, it's with any organization, and we're trying to change it as well a lot, being a developer, and we're always open to ideas. And now, since there are 2 generations, we're seeing a lot of bridging in terms of that generation gap, but a lot of it is driven top down, whether it's from your senior management, whether it is from the leadership, and there's a certain way of operation. So if you want to break that, you have to have the right network and try to make it as top down as you can. Sometimes you can't get all the way to the top, but as top as you can get. And there's a saying like within at least you're one contact away from the next from that senior leader, and make that jump. Don't not do that. And then when you try to do that in-person time is most important. Third is, again, in these type of pilots, a lot of it is on the person, right? The solution might not be perfect when you're trying to do a pilot and you're making it more and more efficient as time goes on, but then that's when we're betting kind of on the person or on the founder, and that founder then has to be completely all in terms of that solution, and also be flexible with the brand that you're trying to partner with. I think those are mine.
Be positive about this bit on startup. They should be knowing what exactly, and I'm sure, as I said earlier, cost should not be the case, and I'm sure most of the time it is not. But what actual reason it is for the scaling to fail when we are noticing every pilot is running successfully?
So I think first I'll say, I'll just amplify what Ayushi said, is a systemic challenge in 80-90% of real estate companies is the gap between senior management and head of departments. The whole point is who's driving it. Sometimes it's the senior management that drives it or board that drives it. Head of department will hear it out because it's coming from the top. He'll do the pilot, but somehow he loses the enthusiasm to replicate it further. Sometimes it's the head of department or the function head or that CXO of that team, depending on the size of the company, who has initiated. But I think it's beyond him to replicate it and give such a big work order beyond his paycheck, and he's not able to cut through it. I think that's one common reason I've seen in many companies. Why it has not, it's very layered. There's a very fine gap here. And this used to happen in public sector banks also, right? Where the board has taken some decision, but the guys below are not able to move. If the guys below want to move, they are not able to communicate it to the board. And that mismatch is something, and that is, okay, it's nice to say that everyone should institutionalize themselves. It'll not happen overnight. I think the startups have to figure out a way to pitch correctly, to engage correctly, and keep it going at all levels. So this is one general problem I'm trying to say. Our experience of using some pilots has been good. We used one solution related to construction in one project. It took 3 months, 4 months for us to get convinced, but now we have replicated against some 20 odd projects. So if it works well, but then the organization has to be very nimble. One more thing, maybe what you can do is what I heard in the morning Brigade did, was they have charted out a 3 years, and I'm sure Prestige has done it fabulously, is 3 years, 4 years, 5 years tech vision. That this is what we want to achieve. It is like a board KRA. First year is on customer experience, second year is on construction efficiency and delays, third could be driving revenue, fourth could be strategy and innovation, something like that. That will then give a direction to the organization as to what to chase. And I'll give a small example at our end. A year back, I don't think we would have met with a lot of startups, met with a lot of solutions, even if that came from Salesforce. We started this new fun activity. I mean, there's this youngest probably girl in our organization, very enthusiastic. So we said, okay, you anchor it. There is one of our IT head who's part of it. There is one construction come overall schedule management person part of it. It's a 3-member crack team. Whatever startup leads anyone in the company gets, we pass it on to them. She filters it. One day in a week she dedicates. Looks up on the net, reviews. 3 of them then will have a call with that startup. Try to get, we've now sort of organically developed a template. If they like it, they'll bring it up to the domain head and the senior management, 2-3 of us. And then the next Friday, we have also dedicated 1 hour where we will have a call with them and try to understand and then take it forward. It's just starting. I think nothing to get disheartened if it is taking some time. It's a decadal game. I love the way Murli put it in the morning, that 10, 15, 20 years this sector is booming, the size is huge. I know you have your bills to pay. That's some survival of the fittest kind of things all come in. But keeping those things aside, to scale up, to become unicorn, half unicorn, sunicorn, whatever, will take time. Will take time because this community is very thick-skinned. It'll take some time before you sort of penetrate and replicate your solutions. But things are changing. Events like this is bringing more awareness. And not just who's present here, but also people who are following you on various platforms. That awareness is increasing. We will end up meeting more. I think the next 2026, when you do this event, the discussions will not be around. This is my guess. So have some more endurance, have some more patience. Things certainly will work out.
True, true. But before I ask you the last question, I would request few startups present here. I'm letting go of few minutes to give it to you guys. Do ask some questions from both of them, because this is the platform where you can ask them the right questions which will help you to scale, help you to get that POC. Where is the hindrance? Ask those questions. So my last question to you guys is, As you said, 2026, I hope this keep continuing. But 2030, I want to understand from both of you, if you can quickly tell us, what would be the playbook of developer from real estate going to look like when it comes to technology? Let's not just say AI, because let's be more specific. What would be the use case where you see the Indian real estate would be heading at? We'll start with you, Ayushi.
I think, again, it's when we look at real estate as a whole, right? There are so many verticals within real estate as well. Residential is a whole vertical in itself. You have commercial, you have your warehousing, you have logistics. So I see tech integration in all of this, right? Right from not just the operational and efficient things. Right now, I mean, and there are some great companies doing some great work where they're completely revamping how real estate is sold digitally almost. And when you really have that top-down approach that you're able to acquire land, you know, whether it is a plotted development, whether it's anything, whether you're right from your acquisition all the way down to your operations, whether it is in terms of design, marketing, sales, where every function has tech enabled into it, and then you are able to create that ripple effect in terms of operational excellence almost. I see that happening with real estate, and at least that's our vision for the organization that we're doing. Real estate can only give you X amount of growth even if you are in all of these verticals, because I mean, you look at any of the top companies with, you know, market cap, and Asian Paints probably today has a larger market cap than the top developer in the country. So, which is the hard truth of real estate. So the way I look at it is that real estate, the way we were looking at traditional real estate, that it was just residential, commercial, all of those things, it's not just that. It's this ensuite of 250 ancillary industries that real estate still holds together, and how do we create value in all of these industries as well, which eventually becomes a part of the real estate value chain. And so that's the vision for 2030, that how do we enable all of these different layers as well? How do we build almost a vertical that allows for growth and excellence in all of these 250 ancillary industries as well? So whether it is design and architecture, whether it is your sales, CRM, you know, operational excellence, whether it is robotics, all of these are independent verticals that can eventually run independently as well. And that's how you achieve a larger scale in real estate versus just the traditional real estate of, okay, brick and mortar, I'm going to build a building, or I'm going to build a complex, I'm going to build a township. What after that? What beyond that? How do you achieve that level of global scale? That's through tech, and that's one of the only ways to achieve that level of global scale, because otherwise real estate is very geographic in nature.
Right, I agree. Your insight for 2030, the developer's playbook.
Okay, what may happen in next 5 years, I don't think I have that vision. I can guess. Many may can guess better than me. But according to me, I gave that example of pyramid. Bottom of the pyramid, honestly, I feel there will be a lot of consolidation, shakeout. If you are almost reaching the unicorn stage, there will be 6, 7 of them. They'll grow big enough that they will be in the tech stack of many developers. So that's one of my guess on 2030, and that will be around sales, that will be around construction, and that will be around where I said I'll put my money in is unifying the data layers. So that's my guess. I think what Ayushi made is also an interesting point. Maybe it can be for 2035. Probably something like an automobile company, right? A car maker has his own ecosystem of 1,000 suppliers, and all the 1,000 suppliers are also using similar tech, so that there is a seamless integration between them. May happen, maybe 2035 or so. But 2030, my forecast, or my thing is 4, 5, or 6, 7 will become so big that they will be part of the tech stack of developers. And it'll all happen in the next 4, 5 years because tech is growing at crazy speed. And any developer in 2030, it can be a mid-size, entry-level developer, also will not be able to avoid tech. If he does that, I don't think he will grow. It'll become that normal. at all functions level. Yeah, and maybe one forecast, if someone will remember and we meet again in 2030, I feel digital twins will become as ubiquitous as sales CRM tech today.
Thank you. And as I promised, I'm going to take few questions from the startup so we can wrap this. And I hope I did ask you the questions which were not asked before. So quickly, startups, please raise your hand. Yes, Harshal, can we have a mic given to Harshal?
Hi, good evening. My name is Rajat. I have a question for both of you. I just want to understand that in terms of all the projects that you have delivered, how many have surprised you financially from the start mandate and at the end?
I think it depends on when we launch the project. Because for us, financial surprises happen when sale price go up, positive surprises. So our business plan said we will sell this at 6,000 rupees, but post-COVID spike took it to 11,000 rupees. Happy surprise, pleasantly surprised. If you ask me, as a Bangalore developer, Bangalore is a cost market. Tech or no tech, the oversight on cost is granular. Many may use Excel, many may use a little more evolved stack. But if you don't get your cost right in Bangalore, you are out of business in 2-3 years. So cost has not surprised at all. And market is pleasantly surprised. But I think,
And the time?
Time is phenomenal. That's a very good point you have put in. It does happen. COVID times, things did happen. Sometimes approvals don't come in on time. But again, if you're going towards a direction, can tech solve those problems? Some problems, yes, certainly, which I said. The communication itself, the way decisions are taken. I think if communication can improve, 50% of the things can improve. But there are some problems which has led to delay, like government approvals, third-party issues, which I don't think is anybody's control. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar to what he said, that if you are, a developer who's been in the industry for long, you have a good handle on costs, unless again something like a steel cement thing happens, which happens in the middle, which are again things that you 5 to 10% at max. But if you have a good handle on the costs, the only variable a little bit is the approvals, which if there are any delays in the approvals, it usually impacts the finance cost. But a way to circumvent that is what we do is our launch strategy is very clear that we have to sell at least 25 to 30% at launch, and that kind of insulates the whole project. And then after that first launch, whatever has happened in the first launch, we're kind of insulated with how the market performs. So even if the prices supposedly, really drops, something like a COVID happens, I don't have to undercut my stock because I had a great launch, and I'm in the position to tell the customer that, okay, no, this is the price of my inventory. I have sold 30%. I'm not looking to undercut my inventory, and then you kind of just wait for that cycle or that phase to end, and then eventually you get back to your original cycle and your original benchmarks that you had set.
And one fun fact, Rajat, to your question. Developers are aware, but if techies are not aware, secretly, and you're not underwriting it, delays in real estate generally has been value accretive. Your project got
sometimes.
Generally been. I'm saying 8 out of 10 times. I mean, just go around. But I'm not promoting delays. Of course, you have to deliver on time.
The cost of financing also, which is quite expensive for the sector.
Rajat, if you could pass the mic to Harshal.
Hi, my question is along the lines of, let's say when you're adopting a new technology within your companies, right? There's a certain element of buy-in that you have to take from other stakeholders who will be involved. And with them, there is a certain element of adhering to the status quo or what is the current process in place or the current system in place. So how do you go about convincing people within the org at your respective companies to open up their minds to newer ways of working, let's say, or newer technologies?
I think great question. I think what you should be doing, you were asking me how you should do it. So, we have sort of a, not generalizing, but depending upon which function it is, their rigidity changes. construction is one department which generally is rigid. You know, McKinsey, there was a study which said global productivity increased, say 3%, whereas construction productivity increased only 0.1%. So the construction guys generally, globally also, are the tough nuts to crack. And for them, any change is risk. If anything has worked in the past, don't change it. So it's a tough one. Sometimes you'll have to, as I said, bottom down, push through the pilot. They see the benefit. Sometimes you'll have to make them feel secure. See, tech should not, I mean, if you're going and pitching to a domain expert, please don't pitch in a way where he feels insecure. He'll not take you. It's a general human tendency, right? So give him that comfort that this is a tool in your hand. You know, this is, I guess things will change. So that is on the construction side. Generally, I've seen the marketing team are more open to trying out new things, and maybe that could be one of the reasons why sales and CRM stacks, etc., has worked a little better. Design is, again, depends on how much emphasis a corporate or a developer gives on design. The design-focused companies usually are open to trying every solution someone who comes up with design. But of course, I'm not just saying visualization, etc. What I mean by design is, for instance, can you develop a tool where I can simulate 50 types of floor plans across weather patterns, sunset, sunrise, traffic movement, those kind of simulation tech can you give me for my design? We'll lap it up, right? They're very sort of open. Procurement, very touchy subject for any company. So if you are developing anything around procurement, please, I mean, it is, I think please talk to a psychologist, talk to, before pitching. No, I mean, it may sound a little light-hearted, but depending upon which stream you're pitching, please try to understand the mindset of that. I'm not generalizing, but generally, if it is finance, cash flow projections, if it is HR, if it is fundraise, if it is land title, registrations, depending upon the nature of the function, their mindsets are different. So you will have to understand the mindset, go for a drink with some of these guys, attend those thematic events and understand how they think. That is how you'll have to pitch, by giving them some comfort. Yeah.
The only thing I'll probably add is that make it their baby. You know, like often we feel that this is my solution and I'm presenting it the best way, but it's about them in the end, because they're going to go and probably tell someone that, okay, I brought in this solution and it led to some XYZ benefit, which looks good on them as well. I'm saying from a very human behavior point of view, right? And if it makes them look good, if it makes their job easier, if it gives them those small wins, you automatically get those wins in the end as well.
Any other question?
Thank
Last
you so
question
much.
from startup. Yes.
Hi, my question is for Sunil, sir. Do you see the RWA tokenization, if approved by the government, can change the scarcity of trust factor, which is lagging in real estate sector as of now? Because I don't know about the retail sector, but I'm sure about the warehousing sector, which I come from. So due to which the exclusivity contract is absent in India. Can RWA tokenization solve it? And if yes, please give your insights on that.
Swaraj has come prepared from Hyphen. Please,
No,
Sunil.
actually, our investors have a mandate of doing it, and I have been searching for this
Of course.
solution throughout
Yeah.
the net. But in India, due to the lack of government policies and all, because land is the crucial factor for RWA tokenization, and nobody is doing it. And since
No,
we
I'm
are
agreeing with you,
not
Swaraj.
able to,
You
this is the
have
common.
come up with the right question. Let Sunil take this one.
Please, sir, if you can put some insights also, that would be helpful for me.
So one philosophy I've always followed in life is to straight away say, I don't know what you're talking about. I'll be very honest about it. I know RWA that is different in our, that's Resident Welfare Association. So please, I am not a techie. I can give you a business sense of something, unless you are aware of what is RWA tokenization. So I claim ignorance.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you.
Thank you, Ayushi. Thank you, Sunil, for coming here today. And I hope I asked the right questions. But thank you so much. I'm sure all the startups present here would like to meet. So my humble request, which I'm telling every jury member present here as well, meet the startups, please. And thank you so much once again.
But I don't know if I'll get this opportunity to, or if there is anyone doing a vote of thanks for Kritika. It's not in your scheme, but you see so many events, they end up at conversations, right? I think this event is great, is good. It is beyond conversation. There is some action. And somehow I'm forecasting this to become a brand in itself, PT, DD, over a period of time. So doing a great work, and thank you so much for building awareness. I'll learn in short while what is RWA tokenization also. So it's a great learning platform for everyone, and you're bringing both the stakeholders together. Great job. Thank you on behalf of Assetz, on behalf of probably jury members, and maybe everyone. Thanks.